Now, this is critical because if you're missing half of the population's perspective, you're not going to get very far on solving some of the biggest issues in the world. And so with that, we've developed the African Women in Science program. And as Steph is going to describe in just a moment, the program, but the people running it are Miss Stephanie Smith. She's our strategic advisor and the program manager of AWIS. And then we have two of our African women scientists who are helping her run this. And the first one is Miss Angela Nankabirwa. She's the AWIS coordinator, and she's out of Jinja, Uganda. That's where the source of the Nile starts, from Lake Victoria. And then Dr. Lulu Tunukaya. And she is, as I mentioned, she's our AWIS advisor, and she's a Rotarian out of Tanzania.
I want to just build on what Ted was saying a minute ago about the importance of including women in science generally. And what we've seen historically is that many of the studies that have been done in the past, driven primarily by male scientists, have very different outcomes when you start to involve women who think differently and ask different questions, and they come to different conclusions, and their studies are run differently with different perspectives. African women scientists have a very complex set of circumstances to navigate within their societies. And I say that generally in Africa, this is a woman scientist who this quote comes from Kenya, and she talks about some of the research that she has done across the continent with African women in thinking about how to help elevate their leadership and their capacity as women scientists. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the intersections here that are listed in this slide. Go ahead. What I want to say with this slide, that this list comes directly from the women scientists in our African Women in Science program. These are some of the things that we saw at the beginning, and we thought, okay, how can we start to address some of these issues? Go ahead to the next one. And thinking about that, we wanted to not only address the issues in some way, but also think about how do we help develop a path to leadership. So here, again, this is a South African scientist, an image of her doing work, which thinking about the importance of mentors, and then also that idea of leadership, that it's not enough just to include women, because often we talk about the inclusion of women in these meetings, but to actually help find that pathway to leadership that goes beyond simply being included, but to actually leading. So as we thought about the intersection of these elements, we knew that we needed to build capacity for African women scientists in the African Great Lakes, that's AGL there, to become leaders. So with this program, we'll just go on to the next slide. The capacity building aspect has become a very key element to us. So we focused on, here you can see career development and thinking about various aspects and stages of a scientific career, but also thinking about how that might branch into other, outside of academia, branch into other roles within the world, knowing that science underscores so much of our world. Leadership skills and our collaboration network, which Ted talked about as a basis for ACARE overall. And then also knowing that the visibility and recognition within the African Great Lakes region is something that women scientists don't have much of. And so how can we enhance that? This wonderful slide shows our 18 participants. They came together through an application process, and we launched the program officially in March.